What if I told you one conversation could completely change your life forever? One conversation can save a marriage. One conversation can stop someone from giving up. One conversation can make you finally believe in yourself again. And sometimes, one conversation can completely change the direction of your future. Think about it. Have you ever had something that stayed in your mind for days, weeks, maybe even years? A sentence you couldn't forget, a piece of advice that changed how you think, a conversation that shifted everything. Because the truth is, most life changing moments don't begin with money, they don't begin with luck, and they don't always begin with opportunity. Sometimes they begin with a conversation. And if you stay with me until the end of this video, you may discover that the conversation you need to change your life might already be happening. Hello, everyone. Have you ever noticed that sometimes it only takes one conversation to completely change the direction of a person's life? Not $1 million, not a promotion, not a miracle, just one conversation. A conversation can open your eyes, challenge your thinking, inspire action, or save you from making a costly mistake. When we look back at our lives, many of the biggest turning points weren't events, they were conversations. A conversation with a parent, a conversation with a friend, a conversation with a mentor, or sometimes a conversation with ourselves. Today, I want us to talk about the conversations that change lives. The quality of your life is often determined by the quality of the conversations you have. Many years ago, a young man wanted to start a business. Every time someone asked him why he hadn't started, he had an excuse. I don't have enough money. I don't know enough. The economy is bad. I'll start next year. One day, a friend asked him a simple question. If everything was perfect, would you start today? He said yes. Then the friend replied, then your problem isn't money, your problem is fear. That conversation changed everything. Sometimes we don't need more information. We need someone brave enough to tell us the truth. Many of us are waiting for the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, the perfect conditions, but life rarely works that way. The people who succeed are often the people who start before they feel ready. Imagine a student who fails an important exam. They begin to think, I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. Then the teacher sits down with them and says, you didn't fail because you are incapable. You failed because your strategy didn't work. Suddenly, everything changes. The problem isn't the person, the problem is the method. That conversation transforms failure from a dead end into a lesson. Many successful people have failed repeatedly before succeeding. The difference is they stopped seeing failure as proof they couldn't do it. Instead, they saw it as feedback. Failure isn't the opposite of success. Very often, failure is part of success. Perhaps the most important conversation is the one happening inside your head every day. What do you say to yourself when something goes wrong? When you make a mistake, do you say, I am a failure? Or do you say, I made a mistake, but I can learn from it? When life becomes difficult, do you say, I can't handle this? Or do you say, this is hard, but I will find a way through? The voice inside your head becomes the soundtrack of your life. And if that voice is constantly negative, it becomes difficult to move forward. Many people spend years waiting for someone else to believe in them. But real transformation begins when you start believing in yourself. A young woman was working a job she didn't enjoy. Every day felt the same. She had dreams but never acted on them. One day she met someone who asked, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? The question stayed in her mind. For weeks, she thought about it. Months later, she enrolled in a course. A year later, she changed career. 5 years later, She was doing work she genuinely loved. What changed? Not her intelligence, not her circumstance. A question changed her perspective. Sometimes one question can unlock a future you never considered. So I would say, be careful what you listen to. Not every conversation changes your life for the better. Some conversations plant fear, some plant doubt, some destroy confidence. That is why you must be careful about the voices you allow into your life. If someone constantly tells you that your dreams are impossible, eventually you may stop trying. If someone constantly focuses on problems, eventually you stop seeing opportunities. The people around you influence your thinking more than you realize. Choose relationships that challenge you to grow. Choose conversations that inspire action. Choose people who tell you the truth while still believing in your potential. So before we end today, I want you to think about this. Who is speaking into your life? What conversation are shaping your decisions? And most importantly, what are you saying to yourself when nobody else is around? Because words are powerful. The wrong words can destroy confidence, but the right words at the right time can completely change a life. Maybe the encouragement you needed is one conversation away. Maybe your next breakthrough is hidden inside one difficult conversation. Maybe someone around you is waiting for words that only you can speak. So, speak life. Choose your circle wisely, listen carefully, and never underestimate the power of a meaningful conversation. Because sometimes, the moment that changes, everything doesn't arrive with noise. It arrives quietly in the form of a conversation. If this message touched you, type "words have power" in the comments. Check the description below. You may just need one of those materials. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Fidan 368, and share it with someone who needs encouragement today. You never know whose life this message could change. Thank you for watching, and remember, one conversation can change a life, maybe even yours.